This is going to be one of those moments where it's after the fact that I put a title on this. I don't even know who's online. Let me just look. It doesn't even look like anybody's online. So I'm over here getting on, drinking a diet. Oh, Coke Zero, to be honest. Going live. Boom. More networking opportunities. Bro. Let's just flip some pages here, I guess. Until we get somewhere. Maybe then some folks will join in on this the Instagram live, and we'll talk about stuff. We'll get a guest on here if I'm not shadow banned. I'm just joking, man. Just joking about shadow banning. Let's talk about some esports stuff. So, EBN, if you guys don't know, Esports Business Network, has been my main focus for the past 3 months. What are we doing? We're closing up here. I mean, wait, whoa. I guess we could call this the Q2 podcast wrap up. Man, might as well get into it. Why not? We'll make this the Q2 podcast. I mean, no better time than now to do the thing. So, for Q2, I think the main thing that we gotta talk about is the pandemic and like what that has implicated for businesses and what that's done to people who have who are sole proprietors and people just starting up, getting a business, and what the impact of that has been on people. And I guess the first question is, what is a business? That I wrote down for the Q2 podcast. And the truth about the Q2 podcast is that I don't quite have a business yet, and I've been, consulting with. I've had 2 consultation sessions within esports over the course of 2 weeks now, and I'm regularly having conversations, and I talk to people who are entry level esports people, like myself. Only 2-3 years ago, or was I entry level, and thanks to a few opportunities of going and attending South by Southwest Gaming, and then throwing my hat out there for media credentials to different conventions, I was able to go and network and provide a service to organizations like DreamHack, like the Overwatch League, like C3 presents in the music space, like the Logic concert, a lot of things with Austin Live and Local, because I'm repping the brand right now, wearing the T-shirt. Had those cool things that I did with Austin Live and Local, which then became the Cyber City Media ventures. If we're going back a little bit further than Q2 of 2020, and Cyber City Media, with that, I was able to kind of start building a presence of an agency of sorts, video production agency, where I was getting to the level in Q1 where I was able to get other videographers and other content creators to help me in the production of different clients' workflows. And you know, then boom, March 13th runs around, and March 13th was a real kick in the teeth, man. And it was like, better pull your pants up by your bootstraps, because you're bent over, and they're about to show you the 50 states, and and within quarter two, we actually acquired one more additional state, so now we're 51 states of America, and wow, what a series of events. Um, so I had a small little business. Um, I had I had 2 to 3 clients, uh, of quarter one 2020. I was fixing to get another client in quarter two 2020, but it just didn't work out. And unfortunately, I'm dealing with trying to figure out what the future looks like, and using sort of the community resources from unemployment to business aid from the SBA, for applying for grants, and pitching my startup, esports business network, to different investors. And I've had like a crash course on seed funding, and venture capitalism, and all of these things. And I'm just a little, average Joe, like a little guy from small town Texas, small town USA. Um, and maybe I have it a little bit better than the rest of, better than others, and I'm in a position to where I can kind of step back, look at the landscape, look at everything that's going on in the world, and, make educated, logical decisions. But again, let's go back to the question: what is a business? And well, if I'm gonna be honest with myself, if I'm running esports business network, I ought to know what a business is, right? And there's obviously the legal language of what a business is. And esports business network will be my second business, at least legally speaking. And um, then there's like the cultural, or not the cultural, but there's the tax and the legal. And they don't necessarily align because, well, we have something in the United States called a federal government. We also have a state government, and they don't agree. So it's not a universal language when we're talking about business. The word business means a lot of things. It could mean that you're generating revenue. It could mean that you have a brand. It definitely doesn't necessarily mean you're making a profit. As you can see, how many companies out there are suffering from the effects of the pandemic and the closures, and the fact that unemployment currently in quarter two is between 13 and 15% of Americans. That's 40 million people. And it doesn't look like that's going to be letting up anytime soon. But I can tell by the way that this current administration is operating, and albeit I was really optimistic that the current administration was gonna do the right thing and use logic and less emotion when it comes to utilizing science and mathematics to try and alleviate some of the problems that are going on in the United States at this moment. But they've decided to go by the way of emotion, and this administration has decided to ignore logic and data and science, and has decided that the best way and approach to making the statistics look like that it makes sense for their agenda is by ignoring data and science. As Trump had came out in his last speech saying that if we were not testing, there wouldn't be so many cases. While I understand the sentiment behind it, meaning that maybe the diagnosis of people's people being, sick with COVID-19 has been indulged or over diagnosed based off of testing, and that for the simplest of a common cold that someone might accidentally get diagnosed as having COVID-19. I completely understand that. That does not discredit the amount of people who are suffering from COVID-19. And to come out and say something like, if we tested less, there would be less cases. Of course, if we tested less, there would be less cases. But the margin of error isn't that crazy. And that's frustrating to be dealing with. And unfortunately, I have dogs barking in the back in the back of this episode, and people are scurrying around in the background. But that's a bit frustrating. And having that being frustrating, hey Robin, I didn't see that until there. Thanks for tuning in. And I'd like to, definitely like to have Robin comment on something like this about the economics of it. But he I don't know if he's in a position to have to have a conversation about. I don't know. I have no idea. Now, it's so crazy because I feel like they're gonna apply that same tactic toward. I feel like they're gonna apply that same tactic of ignoring or dismissing the unemployment numbers by reducing the amount of people who qualify for unemployment. Currently, people who are on unemployment qualify based on guidelines and rules that were applied due to the closure of businesses by the pandemic and the presidential orders to socially distance and shelter in place. Well, in the great state of Texas, we are reverting our 60 days to slow the spread, whatever the heck was. The rollout for businesses going back to normal. Why? Because guess what? COVID-19 has not disappeared, and we're looking at possibly having a terrible second wave, and yet we have a bunch of people out there being ridiculous, acting like getting it isn't a big deal. It is. It's still a big deal. If you get sick, you get sick. You might not die, but you get sick. And as a result, you're out of work for 2 weeks. Then come back and say, oh, it's no big deal. And it's not 1% of people experience a severe case. That's not the reality. 1% of people might be getting the virus, and that number may be going up. But the reality is if you get it, you still suffer the same pain. So stop dismissing it. People continue to get the COVID-19. People continue to get the coronavirus. People will get the flu. It doesn't matter. Do you not see that this is only getting worse? Do you not see that today might be the issue, but just because it's an inconvenience, you shouldn't be thinking about the overall quality of life of the United States and its citizens? I'm just baffled. I know people personally who have gotten COVID-19 across the world. It blows my mind that this arrogance and inconsistencies in the way that people perceive and use data and science and are driven and backed by cultures and having a sample size to use the scientific method to prove what's going on in the world. Sure, you can have faith. Sure, you can believe. But let's not take that outside of religion. Don't go off and believe in fairy dust and expect fairy dust to solve the problem. So let's go back to what business is. Yes, business is making money. But what are we supposed to do if there's no money being circulated within the economy? When 40 million people are out of the job. And when that number is inconsistent with the amount of people I see walking around town all day. And especially when I see goofballs spreading the virus and the cases going up. So yes, bars, restaurants, retail locations, they gotta stay in business. But hell, why don't they go online? Well, you can't serve a drink across the internet. You know, this is an interesting subject that Robin and I have talked about quite some time since we both went to the University of Hawaii and studied these things. We talk about AI. We talk about the future of augmented reality, mixed reality, virtual reality, and that in the long term, the future of haptic feedback and consumption of products. Eventually, you won't have to leave your house because the ghillie suit or whatever, the virtual bodysuit that you wear will provide you with the same amount of the same energy that you get when you go and you get a drink at the local watering hole or whatever whatever you Tim and Tim and Pumbaa people think out here, okay? Timon and Pumbaa people out here think, it's a bug's life for you weirdos. Cockroaches and stuff like that, going to the saloon and doing your thing. Now, no disrespect, that's nothing to do with social things. It's just like idiots versus intellectuals, and that's what we're dealing with. People who can use the thing that goes between their two eyes. You can think it's a conspiracy that, whatever's out to get you and that they're lying, they're saying it's this or they're saying it's that. Well, make your own assumptions. Stop aligning with one side or the other. It's not that clear. It's not black and white. You got to spend money to make money in business, and you got to have money. You got to get some capital. You got to get it from wherever you can. You got to get it where you fit in. You got to get it where you fit in. So what does it take to start a business? Well, it's very difficult to start a business right now. And every single time I come, have a conversation with somebody who's contracting with me or, talking about investing or is an entrepreneur or somebody who wants to do it, get out there, be their own woman, be their own man, be their own them, they, them, whatever your pronouns are, whatever you are, we're all kind of in it together in this sense. We're all feeling that uncertainty. And I'm getting heated and I'm going off on a tangent here, and I'm not even staying on track with my list. I've got 13 questions, that we got to go through to answer in this podcast, but I'm just getting angry and I'm getting frustrated because I don't know who to look up to. The mentors that could possibly be there, and I've heard Knives Monroe come at me about this, is he comes and asks me, "Ooh, aren't you looking for a mentor?" Hell no, mentors don't know shit right now. They're as uncertain as we are. Who are you gonna go look at? Grant Cardone. You're going to look at Tom Bilyeu. You're going to look at Jeff Bezos. Who are you going to look up to? Your mom, your dad? Your mom and dad are suffering from the same problem. Your aunt, your uncle, your grandmother, your dog, your cat, your Pumbaa. You joking? Like, you're joking. The world right now is based on independent decisions. And if you are responsible for another individual, whether that be a child or a business partner or a romantic partner or in whatever case, then in that you might have both a emotional and logical tie. So this second question, what does it take to start a business, man? It takes a lot. It takes a lot, and it takes a lot of perspective and analysis and experience, and it takes understanding those things I just suggested, all the pros, the cons, and how are you going to capitalize off of your experience and your GSD, your get shit done mentality. And unfortunately, it's going to be very difficult to start a business. And unless you know the avenues to success, and you know how to create revenue buckets in order to get those multiple streams of income funneling into those buckets, then I think it's going to be very difficult. Cash flow. Let's talk about cash flow. You can't get physical money. Talk about physical money. Talk about... Talk about physical money. The last $20 to my name. It's difficult. You can't just walk into a bank. They're going to tell you, do you have an appointment? Are you scheduled to be here? Do you want to set up an appointment? What are you looking to do here? What is your motivation? And even more so with all these riots going on. Look over here. Here's a riot. Rob the bank over here. That's not going to happen. That's not going to fly, is it? So the closure of banks due to the pandemic has literally stopped. You can talk about when the world stopped turning. Talk about when the world stopped turning. How many days has it been? Are we still here? Motion and motion and motions and motions and motions with no action. So many complexities. There's such a complexity to banking. And you know, I've been trying to work with contractors overseas. And I'm trying to figure out, how do you work with someone who doesn't have a bank account? Even in the United States, it's complicated on getting a bank account. I mean, we've made it even more... entrepreneurs have made it easier to get banking. But if you're a minority, or you live in a disenfranchised area, or you're socioeconomically disadvantaged, it's complicated. And they don't teach you this in school. They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook. They don't teach you how to handle cash. They don't teach you any of these things. They teach you the basics of philosophy, and they teach you the basics of nothing. My experience, I've learned nothing from the educational institutions, and that put me in a very vulnerable position when it came to acquiring a job, a job. I've had a few different jobs, but at this point, it's almost impossible for me to get a job. Because as I get older, as I become less and less on paper experienced, even though I've been pushing my own businesses for God knows how long, 5 years or something like that, I become more and more repelling. That's not the word I'm looking for. Repulsive to business because I become unattractive. They don't want someone. Leaders have gotten this mindset that they need subordinates, that they need people that fall in line. That if you do speak up, that's that could be a detriment to the business. That's why HR isn't there to help you. But when I operate my businesses, and I might just be doing it wrong, and that's why I'm a failure, is that I want my employees, my contractors, the people that collaborate with me, my associates, my acquaintances, my friends, my family, all to have an improved quality of life based off of the revenue that's generated, including the clients and customers. But they say common sense isn't so common. Well, the way corporations are being operated and the way that small businesses from scumbags are being operated, you just can't make $1. Because for every dollar that they spend on you, they're being taxed 50%. Because they put out, whatever they do, they spend that money on credit. Because you got to leverage debt to make it in this world. Nobody's walking around balling unless they invented Uber or Facebook or some sort of massive platform where there's just this cult following. Or you have to use it because it's so ingrained in the cultural diaspora. These are the complexities of banking no matter where you are, I guess. But these sorts of revenue buckets, man, it makes it so difficult for someone with an IQ below 100, like myself. I feel like I got a good EQ. I feel empathetic. I do, even though as I'm growing up, it was always about like, you don't care about me. Or somebody saying something that just is not the reality, because how much experience do people really have with me? How much time have you spent with me? How much time did I spend with you? You know what I mean? How much time did I spend, serving you and being your friend, or giving you things, taking you places? I've been my own friend. Spend most of the time by myself, rolling one deep, zero. Online, no community, never been a part of a WoW guild, never been, I barely even participated in summer camp. And that summer camp turned their back on me. When times were most tough, guess what? They didn't help me to get out of my situations. So life has been tough, but I've climbed the ladder on my own. I don't have anybody in the actual business world to thank for this. So back to mentors or whatever. I take information from everyone. I take information from whoever has information to give. And all these people out there that are like, oh, but I want to take credit for whatever you did. Well, I guess that's something that we got to talk about. And I feel like there are circumstances where I do need to acknowledge the lift that they gave me. Some corporations, but I guess some don't want to claim me. How much do they want to be associated to me or my businesses, for that matter? I don't know. Especially, when I don't get that sort of engagement. Now we're going down a whole nother rabbit hole. But these are the complexities that we have to think about. And luckily, banking has done stuff for me. See you later. Uh, we're talking about laws, man. Laws. Understanding the laws of business. I can't even get. Today has been such a day. I know it's the beginning of quarter three, January, February, March, April, May, June. Now we're in July. And my hair could get longer. I shaved the side of my head because my hair was getting so long in the back because I'm pulling my hair out every day about what can be done to get this back on track. This the economics, the if you do this, you receive this, and it is universally understood that it's simple and not complicated to understand. I woke up this morning thinking, okay, I'm gonna have a consulting session later today with a potential associate, somebody to work with, and we can exchange or exchange whether it's a one-way relationship or maybe it could be a two-way relationship, trying to figure that out, right? That what whether it's fiscal or monetary exchange, or if it's a resource exchange or a time exchange, what does it look like to work with someone? Well, I wasn't expecting this. I get a call from the unemployment office saying hey, you got to pay. We got to figure out whether you're going to be paying unemployment for your LLC because you started an LLC, right, in the state of Texas, right? Well, if you're a sole proprietor, single member LLC, then you need to pay taxes because you paid yourself in remunerations, and you got to pay that money to us, and then maybe you'll never see that money again. Okay, well, hold up. Let's take a step back. Okay, I did that. I signed up for that based on the language that's not in plain English to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Well, come to find out, like, unless you have this, you got to have your Manila. You got to have your banking set up. And did you pay your banking to yourself? Did you move this around this way? Did you have payments come in, accounts receivable, blah blah blah? And it turned out that I didn't actually need to sign up for it. But based on what someone had advised me earlier, I did sign up for a employer taxable unemployment. Texas Workforce Commission on employer tax payments. That I signed up for it because I thought, okay, I'm gonna have if my company's coming through and start to receive payments. This is back in January, or this might have been this is prior to, it was like the end of January, February. It was the end of February that I signed up for this, and at that time, the pandemic, all of this, and people were saying things that just didn't make any sense and told me to do this, and I did it, and now it's the wrong thing to do, and now I'm going back and forth, trying to figure out what do you gotta do to have the insurance so that if situations like the pandemic happen, you aren't out on your ass, no home, no food, water, or shelter. I'm already struggling in this world. For God's sake. They want to tell me my IQ is below 100. They want to tell me I'm sick. I have a 60 IQ. They want to tell me my EQ, my empathy, my emotional quality is below 100 as well. They want to tell me all the negativity in the world, but then they show me these bullshit documents that don't even, it's not bullet point by bullet point, simple, easy graphic to understand. And I comprehend that I'm not the one that's talking like they understand money. I don't understand money. I don't get it. It's not simple. Especially when they're always they. When I say they, I mean anybody who's not me. So all those people out there they're talking like money, money is a fiat currency. It's not tied to it's the petrodollar. It's the gold. It's off the gold standard. It's money is backed by currency. It's whether you believe you or me or this shit. And what the fuck? So the Treasury can just start printing money. Powell, the Treasury person, just printing all that money, giving it to big corporations and fucking the little guy like me over. Small business, a guy that they say has an IQ below 100, that says they have like a 80, their IQ is 80 or whatever. I'm not a 400 IQ guy, or I know that's ridiculous to say, but I'm not smart ass. I'm not that smart ass that they say I am. They mean smart ass like someone who's talking that shit against their shit. The contradictions of them being the people in power, the people who want to suffocate you and make sure that you stay in a working class inside the caste system of socioeconomic caste system. But I want people to be, I want my success to be your success. If you're watching the video on IGTV or wherever you're watching it, I want my success to also be your success, because I want you to learn the tactics and skills that I developed and apply them in your field, in the thing that you love. And go and do that. Stop working for someone else if they're not contributing back to what you're doing. Do you, man? Do you, woman? Step it up. Stop complaining. I don't want to hear about the complaints. I complain enough for myself. So everybody needs to stop complaining, all right? Go out there and make it happen. I understand pandemic, there are all these things, and be smart about it, of course. Don't go and cough on people. Don't be a Karen or be a Kyle. No, sorry, Kyle. I'm not talking about you. Man, I ain't talking about Kyle. Like, that's bad. That's the meme, right? Kyle and Karen, both of them going out there and fucking shit up and making things worse for other people. Jesus, man, I seen some really, really, really disgusting videos out there of racial tension, gender discrimination, on both sides, and on multiple different angles. From the Asian agenda, to the black agenda, to the white agenda, to the Native American agenda, to the Indian agenda, to the agenda of agendas. Those people with an agenda, those people without an agenda. Binary, non-linear, linear. Sexual tension, all of this crap, man. It's just like, Jesus, man. Let's get on the same page. Let's all try to get to the position where our goal is to improve the quality of life of humanity and our community and the people that surround us. But I comprehend competitive. You want to be number one. Everybody wants to be number one. Everybody wants viewers. I've got none right now. Zero zilch. And I don't know whether that's just because there's not a lot of... I didn't look at the current traffic of Instagram, and I don't know whether I'm being sent engagement over on I don't know, whatever search term that comes up when you look up Trent Knox or whatever. If I'm being posted on Google, whether I'm over there on Facebook, or whether somehow some link got to Twitter, or if by any way there's some strange reason why someone on Twitch is rebroadcasting this, if they can. I don't even know if that's a technical feat that someone can do, but I'm over here going off on a tangent and getting it done. This is the podcast. This is the one that I said was gonna be the one. I said, I did a rollout for this one. I said Q2 podcast coming out soon. I didn't know how it was gonna be. I didn't really know where it was gonna be, but here it is, man. And I might even do a second one. I might even say that this is the first part, and we'll do another part another time. We'll go back over it again. But man, I tell you what, EBN, Cyber City Media, Austin Live and Local, and all the other businesses that startups that I've been trying to run, creating a market and developing a service and product to give that market or make that market more, increase the quality of experience that that market has whatever dealings that market has. Okay, I can't think of the proper wording. I'm not freaking Shakespeare over here. I mean, I'm barely even getting these words out. This is what's been going on, and I feel terrible every day. I said this on other podcasts that I've been on. I wake up every morning angry that there isn't a savior. You're your own savior. You have to save yourself. I mean, some people have a business partner, a relationship partner, somebody in it with them. You might have family that you can rest on, but they only give you 15, maybe 1% of what you need to get it done. You know, you like, if you look at my Maslow hierarchy of needs, I haven't even hit first base yet. You know, I've cheated the damn system, according to them, cheated them because those people did it in this rigid way, because the rigid way was structured and babied for them, because it was so easy for them. I didn't come from a place where it was easy, man. I don't know if this is the case. I don't know if this is like legitimately the real reality. Obviously the reality is how it happened, but my family is not perfect, and it went from, a single mother raising her child till he was 5 years old, to a stepdad coming into the picture that became my father, the person who was supposed to showcase what a man's supposed to be, who failed to be that man and is still not stepping it up and being that man, continues to make the mistake after mistake after mistake. While as an individual, you can look at it and say, you know what? The person, you have to be critical of the people that are closest to you, and it's complicated when that your voice gets suppressed, and suppression and suppression and suppression, because the god dang system, man, the system is manipulated to provide advantage to people that fit a certain archetype, or that person is so insidious to set their life up that way. They saw, oh, this is the only way I'm gonna make it in the world, so I'm gonna make it like this. And that's me acting. That's me showcasing how stupid some people are. And I mean, I'm not the most intelligent. Again, they say I have an IQ of 80. They say that I'm a dumbass. They say that, oh, you fit the characteristics, you fit the stereotype. You are this. You're all, it's guilty before proven innocent. Man, I don't know, man. I just feel like I want to put it on the record. I just want to say it. I just want to say it. And I say so many things. I say it all the time. But I feel like I never really get it. I never do. I never say the thing that's going to make me happy. I never do. I never get it. I never get happiness for myself. And I'm constantly emotionally sad. I'm constantly in this depression. I'm always upset. I'm always angry because I'm making it so simple for people to understand. It's a bullet point by bullet point by bullet point by bullet point. But if that depreciates the quality of the people who are trying to make other people's lives worse or are inconsiderate of other people's lives, the argument back is, I know you are, but what am I? Or what sticks to you? Oh, what sticks to you? I'm like rubber. You're like glue. What sticks to you? What bounces off me sticks to you. Like that childhood, kindergarten, playground bullshit that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Because the people who are supposed to be our leaders behave like children. They're mimicking bullshit that other fucking children talk about. They've got nothing to say themselves. That's why I have 0 viewers, because the things I say, it's not the mainstream agenda. The mainstream agenda is fall in line. Be like everyone else. And yet they tell you when you're growing up that you can be anything you want to be. They say you can be an astronaut. But unless you're Elon Musk, good luck. And even Elon Musk isn't even if you're Elon Musk, you're not an astronaut. You can make the rocket, but guaranteed we're going to prevent you from going to space. That's the way they talk. They're like, who are you? Who are you? You don't got the money like that. We got the money like that. We're your daddy. We're your mommy. We're your grandmommy. We're your grandpappy. We're the government. We're the oppressor. You're the bitch. You're the fag. You're the bitch. You're the fag. You're the gay. You're the this. You're the that. Label the N-word, which I don't regularly use. And if you find it slipping out of my mouth, I must have went dumb goo goo gaga as well. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do lose control over the communication, because I'm not stepping back, I'm not leaning back and creating space so that I can see the problem. Because I see plenty of problems, but my arms are only so long. If I was 20 feet tall, maybe there would be no problems. Maybe if I was a little ant, maybe there were no problems. Maybe if I was a mini human, Shout out to my people from Hawaii, or if I was a gnome or a pixie or some crap that people make up in their head when they're starting to use their imagination, like those children out there. I'm on my Alex Jones talk right now. I'm going off. I don't know what y'all think's going on, but this ain't a game. This ain't something that we're playing around with. I'm starting to get a headache. I'm so frustrated, so angry. I'm tired of this Red Rover, come on over games. I'm tired of Simon Says. I'm tired of these games. I'm ready to play something a little bit more mature. I'm a little bit more mature, depending on where your nomenclature comes from or where you are at in the world. I'm ready to get it done. I'm ready to knock them out. I'm ready to play this game. Like, let's do it. You really want to use those people want to use colloquialisms against each other, and we are out here really slinging that we're slinging that game. We're in this bitch, as they say. As we say, as they say, we say, we should come together. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's wrong with that. It's hard to get paid. It's hard to get paid around here, and especially when you don't agree. You don't agree. You don't agree. You don't think that blacks are supposed to be diminished. You don't think Asians are supposed to be diminished. You don't think white folks are supposed to be diminished. You don't think blue people are supposed to be diminished. And you might clip this out of context, get me on a soundbite. You're not going to cancel me. No. I'm tired of that, man. I'm tired of cancel culture. I'm tired of the goddamn bullshit. It's just every single day, man, somebody that I see online, somebody that I care about, is in some sort of controversy, or some is being hit with some sort of agenda, and it might even not even be a real agenda, man. It might be augmented reality / artificial intelligence bots and stuff like that, taking their language, splicing it up, distributing it across social media, taking it out of context, putting it in a different light. I don't think y'all are ready for Adobe Voco. I don't think y'all are ready for the level of After Effects and changes and whatnot that's going on. Man, I ought to put a filter on this. You know what? Y'all ought to censor me. Y'all ought to put bleep, bleep, blah, blah, bloop, bloop, bloop on my stuff, man. I know they're not going to let this go out. They're not going to let me talk this way. They're going to change my words. They're going to manipulate me into saying something positive for them. They're going to make it as if I said that. They're going to make it as if I said that it's all unicorns and Lucky Charms and pretty things, man. They're gonna put it. Man. I don't know what in the world's gonna happen that's gonna make it so that the disenfranchised people out there are gonna have an opportunity to succeed. Because God damn it, man, this is just not going well for anyone. It hurts. It's so sad, and I wake up every morning angry that it's not getting any easier, and the people who create the things that are gonna help folks. I'm trying really. I'm trying to get it out there to people. I'm trying to get it out. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to give away free workbooks. I'm trying to give away the same stuff that some of the people that I work for. I don't have a mentor. I don't have anybody that I call on a regular basis, ask for their opinion or their insight or their guidance or anything like that. I don't have that. I wish I had it. I don't have it. I don't have Dan Bilzerian on my line saying, "How'd you make it happen? How'd you make it happen, guy? How did you make it happen?" Where You're not suffering from the female agenda. You're not suffering from government oppression. You're not suffering from a lack of access to educational resources. There's just no depreciation in your quality of life. That sort of mentor out there, really, those folks that are really balling, that could go anywhere in the world, and everybody knows their name. That there's that literally, the guy that could go to the bar and everybody loves them, the gal, the girl out there that everybody loves, that she's, she fits she checks the box on all the categories, that that nobody looks at her in the wrong way, and even if they did, she's positive about it. She's not being negative about it. If it's a girl or a guy saying something out of line or whatnot, because look, I gotta be honest right now. What I'm about to say, I take offense. I'm offended. I'm offended too. I'm out here, I get offended as well. I gotta be honest. It's not easy out here. It's not. And I don't know how much longer I have on this live, and I know it's going to become an IGTV thing. And I hope in the comments below, IGTV, if you are so brave to listen to all of this, and somehow it wakes you up, it gets you going, it gets you grinding, it gets you motivated, it gets you hyped up, it gets you on to doing better, bigger, and better things. And you can feel it in your gut, because that's what I'm doing right now. I feel it in my gut. I'm speaking from my diaphragm here, man. I can get it. I can feel it getting caught, in my throat. I feel a little bit like, but it's okay. We're gonna get it out. I'm trying to get it out. Cat got your tongue. That's another one, man. Cat got your tongue. That's another one, man. It's just like, how am I supposed to do this? I'm thinking about all these different angles that they come at us from with their childish games, man. And it's not the children. The children aren't the problem, man. Children are doing great. It's the people who behave like children, and they're 70, 80 years old. They haven't changed. Like, they didn't adapt with technology, with innovation. They just sit on their daddy Warbucks money, and they don't know what it's like to come from the grassroots. They're AstroTurf, for God's sakes. They're not grassroots. They're AstroTurf. I'm tired of it. I am. I'm done tired of this shit. I don't know what to do or how to make it better, but I'm just saying, like, what can we do? What are some suggestions in the comments below of how can we make it, and how can we flip this around to make it, like, better? Because all I can see is turmoil and destruction and a complete reset. Especially when I hear things like from Brian Kern, shout out Brian Kern, talking about that someone came to him in a hostile tried to fight him, and tells him that when in the Civil War he's gonna come and find him. Oh my God, dude, what are we dealing with? How do we fix the problem? There shouldn't be so much division. They talked about this in The Division, man. The Division by Tom Clancy. What a beautiful video game. What a beautiful video game. But it didn't resonate, man. It didn't go. It's not mainstream. We're wrapping up on the last 30 seconds here. And I appreciate you if you listen to this whole thing. And I know that I went off, and I know that it's not for everyone. But yeah, follow me on all the things at Trent Knox or at Trent Knox TV. If it comes up as some dude in Australia, that's not me. I'm not that fit. I wish I was that fit, but check his stuff out if you're living in Australia. Peace.